and welcome back to Fate of the Pods, your favorite podcast for both RS3 and real life content. I'm Aerro.
And I'm Rainy Day.
And today we're introducing a new segment, a new series that we're bringing to the podcast called This Week in Podscape, which will follow alongside weekly updates that RuneScape brings into the game that we feel are worthy to talk about. And tonight is one of those nights. We have a smorgasbord of updates to go through today. And I think we're going to start, Rainy, with my heartbreak, the Sentesten Archaeology update.
Yeah, so to my surprise, I think they introduced it as a mini digsite, and while you only need like 60 archaeology to start, it was kind of a bit of a slight grind, if I do say so myself. It's basically it's an addition to the Zarosian content, but in an entirely different place, the city of Sentesten. Basically, you have to do what you did in the other cities or areas, and like find mysteries, excavate stuff, repair windows. A good bit of lore involved. How did you feel about it?
Personally, I was expecting, because they quoted it, or they like said it was gonna be like a mini edition, and so in the back of my head I was like, okay, this is gonna take maybe like an hour max, and I'm still not done. Granted, I got on like after work today, but still, like, it's a couple hours worth of grinding, which is fine, I guess. But it just seems, I don't know, when a good chunk of your player population is at least maxed, if not 120, it just seems like an afterthought to me. That's kind of like, we could have maybe, if you wanted to like incorporate lore, we could have maybe done it in a different route. I don't know. I do like, we got to see, even though it was kind of small, we did get to see different parts of Sentesten. Like, I await kind of what these next different rounds of Elder God Wars is going to bring in terms of how much of the city we're going to see, because this place is really, really big. Low-key, high-key. Like, I did take my Orb of Oculus, which is kind of like you can take like a selfie with it or whatever, and you can zoom out really far, and I've zoomed out like on the corners of the map that we have access to right now, and this place is fucking huge.
I will say that, because I remember our first ever podcast, I talked about Calphi King and how there's not a lot of lore surrounding it, opposite of Nex, which has a lot of it. And by Nex, I kind of mean the entire ancient aspect with like the 4 ancient elements. And there was a lot of that in this dig site, which I really liked, which also goes hand in hand with like the new magic abilities that came with the ancient spells. So it's like, I get why they added the content, and it's cool. And the good thing about it being level 60 is that you kind of get the artifacts pretty quickly.
That is true. True. All right, so we have the big Sentesten Archaeology. What else do we have on our list this week, Rainy?
So next up, there have been some changes in like abilities. So it's referred to as game balancing. And so they made some changes in the PVM world. One of the biggest ones. Actually, they're all pretty big. 2 of them are big. They're big. Anyway,
Wait, are they big though?
They are. So teleport restrictions. There's quite a few bosses that you can't exactly like click a place and you teleport out. Those are Virago, Solak, Angel of Death, Nex, Rise of the Six, Mass Cab Raids, and Araxor. You had to like move away from the boss and hope it doesn't like, or like have one person sacrifice themselves and then you lobby, um, or just die, and that's a lot of people didn't like that. I think it's been an issue for a while. So now you can teleport out of these places. The only place you cannot teleport out to is Telos, which makes sense because that has a streaking system.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to be doing any new bosses now that?
Nope.
Oh, got it.
I mean, in terms of like the limiting factor for why I don't do that high level PVM was not if I could teleport out or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's cool that they added that.
Yeah, I definitely see that for like the people that get into, people who are really good at, Solak or AOD, and, something goes wrong, someone messes up or whatever, and it's like, all right, we need to restart, and they don't have to like die now for it. I think that's fun.
Yeah, I will say that it doesn't happen often, obviously, but misclicking a teleport, I sometimes just mash my keyboard buttons together and I teleport to like Moon Clan, which isn't a good look for me because I was like, damn, I was almost finished with the kill. But I don't think that's going to be an issue for many people. Um, but yeah, we move on to spells. To be honest, I unlocked all the spells, but I didn't test them out before to notice what they did after. Um, so I can't really say too much about that, but they fixed a lot of magic spells.
Yeah, I saw that surge spells, or the biggest one, I guess, out of the list that they have for me is surge spells now scaled to T99 damage instead of T92. I think that's like considerable, right?
Yeah, and actually a lot of the spells, like Barrage and Aurora spells, honestly, whatever those are, do scale to tier 99. So good for that. Good for them. Good for the majors. I don't mage too much these days.
So, okay, I have a question then. So, if the spells themselves are now scaling to T99, does that really matter if we don't have like a T99 weapon? Like, can it still do the T99 damage if we don't have a weapon that can, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have, like, let's say T92 bolts on, but you have ascensions for crossbows, like, is that the same comparison?
That's a really good question. I'm not too sure because damage caps still exist. Like with a Grimmon, it's like 15k crits.
Right.
Without it, it's like 12k. I think some things are still maxed out, but in the way I would imagine it from somebody who doesn't always get the numbers is you have a higher chance of hitting higher more often. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but
it also just kind of sounds like they're preparing in advance for, T99.
Yeah. Because I think even continue.
No, I was gonna say, which is like inevitable at this point. We all know eventually one day it's coming, but yeah.
Yeah, because I was surprised that the Armadillo staff wasn't tier 92 because magic is the only skill or combat style that didn't have a two-handed tier 92 that wasn't a Telos weapon. So like range had ECB, melee had the Spear of Annihilation, mage didn't have anything until this staff, and it's a tier 95 staff, and it's the first tier 95 item, I believe. So good for mage. It deserved it.
Yes,
mage deserved good. They made some changes to the greater concentrated blast ability, the greater codex that Carapac, the new boss, drops. There's some increase in ability damage here and there is what I'm seeing. They made it better so it fits where they feel a greater basic ability should fit. I just read that, but yeah. I hope what it was. I hope what it is now is better than what it was last week. the majors, uh, they're I want them to do good. Um,
We're rooting.
this one,
We're rooting for
we're
you.
rooting
We
for
were
them.
all rooting for you.
Okay, so we move on to Greater Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yes, rest in peace. Slightly, it got nerfed. I never wanted to see this day, but it happened. And okay, I did a Wikipedia search before the start of this podcast. Raksha came out December 7th, 2020, and it was August 16th when they nerfed it. Why? Like, it's been 8.5 months. Why would you just mess with it? And my heart goes out to anybody who bought Greco like Sunday night. They didn't get to like fully experience what it was. Like, I don't care if you call it a broken ability or whatever. It was what it was. Y'all should have done something to Greater Chain. Y'all should be doing something to divert. Like, what is that ability? But whatever.
Go off.
They nerfed it. It's okay. I'm just gonna go read off some of the math, like some of the changes that they made. Because a lot of people are saying y'all don't need to panic. It's not like completely like bad now. Like, it's still a really good ability for a basic. It's just not what it was, unfortunately. I don't think you're gonna be able to one hit next minions under an ECV spec. Unfortunate. I will be thinking about this for many months to come. Basically, one of the bigger changes is the additional hits from like having Karoming perk, which makes you hit one extra target per rank, is instead of 10 to 50% damage, it's 5 to 15, which is a bit.
Yeah, considerably less.
Yeah. But one thing they did do is Ruby Bolts, the enchanted ones, will no longer like scale their damage down. Because I want to say every time I would use Ruby Bolts and they would proc, I would see a 7k. I don't know if what I was seeing was right, but if I'm right, then sorry, that 7k is now going to be like a 10k or something. Hopefully, I don't know. I just want the ability to still be good. I haven't used Greco within the past 24 hours.
Right. So it sounds like they're trying to balance it in the right places.
Yeah, but the fact that they nerfed it, I am devastated, but it's okay. I hope it's still expensive because I already have it and I do Raksha and I like Raksha. But yeah, because I remember like when it was first released, I think the first person bought it for like 1.4 bill or something, like hype or whatever, and then it got down to as low as like 580. I remember being that low, but then it started like climbing up, and then I think it peaked at like either 1.4. I swear it was like 1.5 or something for like a good 2 days before it like stabilized back down to like 1.3. But it was within the bill range, and I honestly hope it still continues to be so, but we'll have to see. And there is some changes to the staff of. We're gonna say goodbye to the topic of Greco, even though
you could go on for hours.
Yes, absolutely.
So we do
the staff of Armadillo.
Yes.
Will we continue?
No, I was gonna say yes, the staff of Armadillo.
Okay, so Aerro and I are both we have money, but we don't have a staff of Armadillo money, so we don't even know what it did. We saw some videos, but we don't know what it did, and we don't know what it does now. But yeah, I hope it better be a good weapon. The new boss does need to be good money.
Agreed.
For the amount of times in one kill it kills you, I die a lot at that boss, so
yes,
there's that. Okay, we move on to a few other things. One of them is there's 2 new action bars for members, and so now we all have a total of 15. How many? Do you know how many action bars you use, Arrow?
Um, Great question. As the very elite PVMer that I am, and we all know to be, I only have two action bars on my screen. I have like my main one, and then I have a second one that just really is only used for other teleports. Like I have my Wars Retreat on there. And then I have, if I need to, if I'm like skilling and I need to like set something on there to drop, I'll put that on there.
I see. I Wait, I have another question. So, let's say you do occasionally use all three combat styles, not at the same time, but like, do you have it to set where if you equip a sword, it goes to your melee action bar?
I do
And if you like,
not.
oh, okay. That took me such a long time to figure out how to make it work. Um, but yeah, I made it work, and I also like set my secondary action bars up too, so like those switch too. Um, but yeah.
I mean, it's for the people that use them and use them well. I like good for them that they have extra bars. I was just mad that I had to log in and like redo my preset because it's just probably part of because of the update that like did your when you logged in for the first time today, did your like action bars, were they janked up, like
Um,
removed?
mine were too, and I was like, did I lose one? But I just had to switch the number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mine was like off my screen, so I had to like relocate it and put it back on and like resave it. But other than that,
Yeah. Um, we move on to wait, what were you gonna say something?
no, I was just gonna do we have any words on the 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 ninja update? I don't know if there's anything like big other than the action bars to talk
That's
about. I
it's
think
just all it's all things related to action bars. That's the big one. And then there's another one about Karapek. I think it was something about if you stand under him at the right time, you don't have to deal with the time thread. But the way this is worded, I don't know if they you can no longer do it, or they made it to where you could have done it and now you can't do it anymore. Or so like next time I go back, I want to see if I can do it. But knowing me, I won't even get the timing right. Um, but yeah, that's one
yes.
hot fix. And then there's another one about user interfaces. It's basically pathing and stuff, and the things related to Steam.
Right.
Yeah.
And then kind of one of the last big ones is the Guardian gift.
Yeah. Um, that one came out a few months ago. It was the update that like gave you some blessings, some really good blessings, uh, because of that whole people getting locked out ordeal. So that they just decided to give people gifts. Um, one of them was like you get like if you were to use all 100% of them on invention perks, you basically got an unlimited amount of whatever you wanted, and then you would try your luck. So I think most people used it on the rare aftershock they were going for. There were also some other gifts too, but basically it was awarded to players who were playing around that time. And it's important to mention that all those gifts and blessings run out August 24th. So please look into that. See if you've used up all of your gifts.
Yeah, take
Um,
advantage while you can. Though
yeah.
I spent I think almost 100% of my Guardian gift on like the good perks for sure.
Yeah, I think I only got one good perk that I needed, which is it saved me definitely a few hundred mil. But the other ones were kind of a flop. That's okay though. Like it was free. But yeah,
Different
it's
strokes
not
for
just
different
invention perk.
folks.
Yeah, but check them out. It was a good thing that they added for everybody. Um, And one last thing, Premier membership, it's coming back on sale for they're having a summer sale. So between yesterday, August 16th and September 14th, if you purchase it, you get like the whole benefits of the summer of the Premier Club for 2021. So if you want to take advantage of that, do so. It comes with a pet, an ugly outfit. I'm sorry, no one wears those. Yak track, pass rewards, and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, so if you're someone who, does the yearly, the buy-in, the summer rewards kind of thing, now's your time. Take advantage now. Get all your goodies and benefits before it's gone until next year.
Yeah, I do have to say regarding like Premier Club in general, when those come out, like those announcements, bonds spike up. So if you get them if you stock up on bonds when you get a big drop or something, you'll be good. You'll save money in the long run. If you think like me, like if bonds spike up to like 35 mil and you want to spend all your coins, go ahead.
Go right ahead.
But yeah.
Well, thank you guys. This has been
Thank you all.
Our first edition of This Week in Podscape, giving you the newest RuneScape updates as we get them live. We have and are excited to say that our next episode of the podcast, our Discord will finally be live for all of you. We've been working on getting it set up right for you guys to make it a good community that everyone can join in and contribute to the conversation as our podcast grows. So we encourage you when we drop the link to come join us. We're happy to see fresh faces and talk with you guys.
Yes, we look forward to it.
So until next time, thank you. Thank
you all.
Bye.
Bye. Keep the faith. Do keep the faith. Thank you.